Greed is not merely an individual vice, but the outward symptom of a deeper cognitive error, the belief that the self stands apart from the world it inhabits. Every culture that builds its identity on separation will eventually devour itself, because it has cut away the very awareness that sustains coherence. To cure greed, we do not need moral punishment or stricter laws. We need to repair perception. Awareness is not passive observation, it is the living connection between subject and object, self and world. Consciousism begins from this fact, that all things are expressions of one consciousness unfolding through countless perspectives. When we lose sight of that continuity, we fall into a state of scarcity, not of resources, but of meaning. We begin to measure life by possession rather than participation. We compete for fragments of a reality that was never divided except in the mind. Modern systems exploit this blindness. Economies, politics, and even religions have been built on the narrative of the isolated self, promising security through ownership and control. But ownership is an illusion within a field of shared being. The more fiercely we cling to what we call mine, the more violently we oppose what we call theirs. The result is a world defined not by abundance but by exhaustion, of people, of ecosystems, of spirit. To restore balance, we must replace the story of separation with a direct experience of unity. This is not an abstract spiritual ideal, it is a shift in cognition. When awareness expands, empathy becomes a form of perception, not emotion. To harm another becomes incoherent, like trying to wound one's own hand to feed the other. Ethics ceases to be a set of imposed rules, and instead becomes the natural geometry of consciousness seeking resonance with itself. Greed cannot be defeated because it is not an enemy, it is a shadow cast by ignorance. To oppose it directly is to remain bound within its logic, the logic of lack. Only awareness transcends it. When a person perceives the world as an extension of their own consciousness, the urge to hoard dissolves, not through moral discipline, but through understanding. Creation replaces consumption, cooperation replaces control. What emerges from this understanding is not a revolution, but a remembering. The recognition that every system, every being, and every moment exists as a movement within the same field of consciousness. The world does not need to be conquered or corrected, it needs to be re-seen. Awareness does not repair reality, it reveals that reality was never broken, only misunderstood. The cure for greed lies in awareness, because awareness dissolves the boundaries upon which greed depends. The task before us is not to reform systems, but to awaken the perception that sustains them. Once consciousness remembers itself, balance will not need to be enforced. It will emerge, as naturally as light fills a room when the window is opened.